Hi, everyone. My name is Scott Moore. I'm the VP of Marketing here at PureBridge. I hope you are all safe and sound during these difficult times, and thanks for sharing a bit of your day with us. We've noticed that there's several people who have joined us and registered for the webinar today from the US Postal Service, and I wanted to thank them very much for keeping the mail running. It's really greatly appreciated. I know it can't be easy. The topic for today is how to address productivity, cost control, and safety concerns when employees shift from home offices in response to the COVID-19 crisis. We hope to help you answer the question, what do you do if your mailroom suddenly goes from supporting 4 offices to supporting 4,000? The current pandemic has seen a disruption in business continuity as employees are suddenly having to work from home. Most businesses have enterprise systems in place that enable remote workers to log in and do their jobs. But not all work and communication can be digitized. Some work requires physical correspondence like contracts, samples, designs, supplies, etc., things that might need wet signatures and so on. Under normal conditions, it's the mail centers and shipping departments that centralize the management of outbound material. They enforce corporate policies about who is authorized to send what, to whom, and how. They automate processes, apply business rules to carrier service selections, and they keep track of expenses by cost center. But these aren't normal conditions, even though a new normal may be emerging. Without the ability to maintain centralized mailing and shipping control over decentralized home office working environments, employees will be left to improvise, eroding an organization's ability to control productivity, expenditures, and employee safety. In this webinar, we'll look at, in a little bit more detail, how enterprise multi-carrier management systems can maintain business continuity by helping to centralize the administration of decentralized home office mailing and shipping processes from the cloud, enable employees to ship efficiently, cost-effectively, and most importantly, safely, and maintain visibility and control over expenditures across the enterprise. Before I introduce our 2 speakers, just a little bit of housekeeping. We're expecting the presentation to run a little bit less than 30 minutes today. We will answer questions at the end, but they can come in throughout the presentation, so please just ask them in the question widget in your GoToWebinar interface. And once we're done, you will all receive a copy of the recording when it becomes available, likely by the end of the week. Our first speaker today is Bob Malley. He has over 30 years experience in parcel carrier management solutions and is the managing director of PureBridge. Our second speaker will be Mike Graves. He has 25 years of experience in supply chain technology and heads up the product team for PureBridge as the VP of Product Management. So without much further ado, I'll pass things over to Bob, who will dig into the challenges and solutions of supporting home office shipping.
Thank you, Scott, and welcome everybody. Yeah, as Scott said, this pandemic has really changed things for businesses who have been used to managing 4 offices, now may have to manage 4,000 home offices. Processes that were once controlled centrally are suddenly decentralized. I think mailing and shipping are a good example of this. Most corporate offices have mail centers, and their function is to ensure outbound and inbound mail and shipments are processed efficiently and cost effectively. But with the shift to employees working from home, employees are creating the same kind of material for outbound that they always did. There's still agreements that need original signatures. Not everybody has Adobe, certainly not all customers do, so you have to be able to accommodate physical mail, marketing material, supplies, etc. But many businesses have lost visibility and control over how all this outbound material is going to get processed. Instead, employees working from home are left to freestyle and improvise on how to process mail and shipments. So one of the first costs of this is the drop in employee productivity. as many of you know, most employees aren't transportation and logistics experts. They have other jobs to do. And when they don't know what the best carriers to use or what corporate mailing and shipping policies are, they're going to start to improvise. They may not even have the right corporate carrier account information. So that means they might have to visit multiple carrier websites to find, the easiest way to ship stuff, which isn't always the most productive use of their time. I spoke to an analyst recently, and he said the wait hold times on carrier systems is the most it's ever been, into the hours. So it appears that people are calling in for help and waiting, and that also eats into productivity. It also leads to an increase in shipping costs. Centralized mail centers have always had systems in place to ensure corporate policies are followed in terms of carrier selection to keep expenditures under control. But without automated decision support or processes in place, remote workers are apt to visit their favorite carrier site of choice or pick a premium service or pay retail rates if they use their own account. So all this leads to increased and unnecessary expense. That also leads to a loss of cost visibility and control. So a major function of corporate mail centers and shipping departments is to track expenditures by cost center. The average employee may not be as diligent as mail center employees about properly recording and reporting costs back to accounting. Again, they have other job functions to do and are trying to cope with all the other disruptions in their normal workflows. Now, public companies especially they're responsible for implementing strict cost accounting procedures that are, well formed and in place. And this is undermined when there's a lack of or loss of centralized control. But one of the areas that we see as being very significant is employee health and absenteeism. Instead of going to a carrier website, many employees will, head off to a local post office or carrier shipping center and rely on experts there instead of a mail center to perform processes normally handled by the mail center. Now, they're likely to wait in line 6 feet apart with masks and gloves. But with the current pandemic, we all know that when employees leave the house and congregate with other people for any reason, they're exposing themselves to serious health risks, which can lead to absenteeism or worse. And they're also exposing others to health risks. In all those matters, all that adds up to a loss of business continuity because it isn't business as usual, and that leads to cost inefficiencies, cost overruns, and safety concerns. So as we look at how a multi-carrier management system like PeerBridge offers with Transstream, it's a cloud-based enterprise class multi-carrier solution that attempts to resolve these issues. That's because these systems operate almost like a virtual mail center, effectively replacing administrative processes performed by a mail center with something that's in the cloud. I would emphasize cloud-based enterprise, one platform that can be accessed by a PC, a Mac, or mobile browser by any authorized employee, and there's really nothing to install. I would also emphasize multi-carrier because one solution connects to all major carriers, including USPS, UPS, FedEx, DHL, as well as regional carriers and local couriers. Now, Mike Graves will review the features in more detail, but at a high level, features include a centralized cloud administration platform that allows IT managers to automate onboarding with user registration processes, configure user permissions, import address books, configure carriers or rate shopping rules. Again, nothing for an administrator to install. They simply log on using a browser. We think the key to this, because most employees are not logistics experts, is having a simple, intuitive workflow where you simply access an address from an address book, key in a weight, read from a scale, rate shop, and print a label. Couldn't be simpler. Controlled access, best part is it's the same exact process for any carrier, any of the hundreds of carriers that are supported. They don't need to learn a different UI for any one carrier that they choose to use. And again, the no-contact shipping, there's no need to stand in line at a post office because they can print the labels right on a home, the home office printer. So employee safety concerns are addressed because it fix the carrier label to the package and just drop it off in a drop-off box, or schedule a pickup, or leave it for the postal service to pick up on the stoop. It's also multifunctional, so it's one thing to ship from home or from an office, but the same platform supports shipping from warehouses, stores, or suppliers, or customer service can use apps to process returns or track shipment down to line item detail. The key here is that it centralizes the data store. So all transactions from all points of shipping across the enterprise are stored in a single database for reporting and analytics to go to work on them. So accounting department can create cost center reports and reconcile costs against carrier invoices. So with that, Mike Graves, can you take us through some of the features in more detail and describe what the impact is for home office shipping personnel?
Sure, thanks, Bob. So as discussed, many companies have had to extend their shipping footprint outside of the traditional campus and corporate environment, all the way out to employees' home offices. And we've designed TransStream as a single product platform with many apps, and those have been designed and personalized around specific business workflows and requirements. We'll spend some time today on the home office app, but we'll introduce you to some others. But with that design and the flexibility, it's flexible enough to meet customer expectations for this home office shipping need right out of the box, while also providing a full enterprise platform that fits all business shipping needs. So I think the key there is that there's no reason to compromise your business cost control, accounting functionality, and things that Bob's already mentioned to enable these remote workers. So as a result of that, you can see some of those benefits. The system is designed for very rapid deployment. So a customer account can be created in minutes, allowing a customer admin to simply enter their USPS or other carrier account details. And then it's a matter of just simply sharing that with the users for self-onboarding, or the admin could opt to import users directly into the system, thus enabling most of our customers to start shipping same day or within 24 hours. So admins can configure things like carrier accounts, cost center accounting, and business rules to ensure that users minimize costs while meeting or exceeding delivery requirements. So it's kind of that virtual mailroom that Bob was talking about. But users have the choice to use a wizard-based workflow or a non-wizard one right from the UI for their business shipping based on their preference, right? So it gives them the flexibility to use the interface that they like the most. And the intuitive system is designed for maximum user adoption with really no training required at all. It's very intuitive. So users simply enter package details like destination and weight to get started. And then they'll be presented a rate shop screen. So in this case, we have a calendar view, or they will get represented or can select a table view. And this table view gives you the carriers and services sorted from least cost to most expensive. You can still filter it by date and delivery requirements as well. And then once they've selected the carrier and service, they're basically presented with the shipping label. So they can print that on their standard printer at home, and they simply adhere that to the package. It's ready for the carrier. So it's really that easy. Enter the package info, select carrier service, and print, right? So you don't need to be a logistics expert. As previously mentioned, the product allows the organization to grow into a single solution for all the shipping across the extended enterprise. So a company could easily start with home office. They could move back to the corporate campus. They can extend it out to things like warehouses and plants and stores, while also making it available to external suppliers and other partners as needed. And of course, corporate compliance doesn't become less important just because people are working from the home office. So the corporate compliance, including financial compliance, regulatory, international trade, hazmat, is ensured no matter where the user is and what app they're using. Right. Users also have the option to create personal shipments. So just like Bob mentioned, you don't want them waiting in line to do your business shipping at the one of the retail sites. You can do the same with personal shipments, and it allows them to pay with a personal credit card. So it provides an employee a benefit while reducing company shipping expenses. So it reduces the rogue shipping where they're shipping on your corporate or business accounts. It also eliminates the need for things like chargeback processing if you allow for personal shipments. It reduces the exposure that you would get from things like chargebacks and adjustments for dim weighting or whatever those things might be post-shipment. So it really reduces that corporate exposure and reduces the management overhead for personal shipping. And of course, it's important for any management system to provide extensive reporting and analytics. With the system, authorized users can run reports from an extensive library of pre-configured reports, or custom reports can be created. And billing and accounting data can be easily exported for import into your financial systems, while our dashboards provide robust visualizations and further analysis of data. Okay, Scott.
Yeah, thanks, Mike, and thanks, Bob. Some great insights. We're about to get to our questions here. So if you have one, feel free to plop it into the GoToWebinar widget there on the right-hand side, and we'll address them. There's a couple in already. So just to sum up, an enterprise multi-carrier management solution like Transstream supports ship from home office, physical correspondence, giving employees the tools they need to ship efficiently, cost effectively, and safely from their homes. And it gives leadership the tools they need to maintain cost controls, visibility, and reduce risks to business continuity. So PeerBridge does want to help our corporate neighbors through this situation. So we are offering a free 1-year subscription to Transstream Home Office. It includes the quick onboarding that Mike spoke about, centralized administration panel, unlimited users and ship from locations, and discounted USPS rates to get home office workers shipping safely, efficiently, and cost effectively. To learn more, you can contact us at the number or the email address on the screen, or you can visit us at peerbridge.com. So let's turn to questions from the audience. First one here will be I think for Bob. You're probably best to answer this one. When we move our employees back to corporate offices, would a solution like this continue to be useful? What if we keep some at home offices?
Yeah, I think we're faced with a new reality where businesses are really starting to realize that employees can work just as effectively. Many can work just as effectively from home. But so what this represents is the ability to extend shipping across the enterprise. If they're in the office, they can ship from the office, a corporate office, or if they're at home or at a conference. This really is intended to be used by any remote worker.
Great, thanks, Bob. For Mike, someone's asking about they use some other financial programs, and we're just wondering about integration with that technology.
Yeah, it's a great question. So as we discussed, reports can be used to create kind of ad hoc exports, but we do have additional tools so we can schedule automated exports through a task schedule using the data management app, or we can work with the internal IT staff to set something that's more real-time and completely automated. But yeah, it's completely supported.
Another one for you, Mike. How long might this take, and what's involved in getting it up and running?
Yeah, so it's a good question. With our latest updates of the tools, we can set up a customer account in a matter of minutes. We'll work with the company admin to hand that over, and then it really is just as simple as them entering the USPS account information and sharing with users. So if they want to just send out the link, users can essentially create their own login, and that'll be associated with whatever profile that's assigned to them. And that way they've got all of the business rules, cost center, accounting information, everything that's completely automated. So it could be same day or next day for most of our customers.
Mm-hmm. Great. Anybody else want to ask a question? We still have a few minutes left. Going once, going twice. Thanks again. Thanks, Bob and Mike, for your presentation today. It went really well. And thanks to our audience for joining and participating. Please, everyone, have a wonderful day and be safe. Thank you.